makes his living selling cookware, fine china, crystal, and that kind of stuff, bought yet another one of these latest gadgets out of an electronic market. He'd buy anything he thought that would help him with his sales. And it was a 4-head JVC video cassette recorder that he figured he could use to make his sales presentations with. It was an expensive machine at the time, so the store where he bought it threw in a video camera for free. The camera was pretty worthless. It was an old Quasar camera that connected directly to the VCR with a 12-foot cable, had no viewfinder, was completely manual, so I'd have to look at a TV set to see where I was pointing the camera. My father gave me the instructions to figure it out, and before he knew it, I was using the machine to make my claymation movies and little action comedies with my brothers and sisters. The nice thing about being a budding filmmaker and growing up in a family of 10 is the endless supply of cast and crew. The stop-motion movies didn't look very good because of the glitches every time you hit the pause button on the video. But the live-action movies came out great. The VCRs in those days had more extra features than any newer model today. This one had an audio dub feature, which allowed me to erase the soundtrack and add a new one without erasing the picture. So I'd make short movies, edit in the camera, and lay music over it later. This new toy kept my interest for about a whole year. I shot everything. My newborn sister, the 10th, family gatherings, my own mini sci-fi comedy kung fu action movies, anything I could think of that I could shoot within a 12-foot radius, because I was still limited by that attached cord. The nice thing about this machine was that, whereas before I'd spend over $10 for a 2-minute Super 8 movie with no sound, now I was getting 2 hours of erasable color, picture, and sound for the same price. A great way to practice. The video age had arrived. Things really took off when my father decided to buy another VCR, since I had taken over the first one. To his surprise, or maybe not, I took over that one as well. I had realized that with 2 VCRs hooked together, I could edit by playing my movie on one VCR and recording on the other VCR, using the pause button on the recorder to edit out unwanted material. My editing system was born. From then on, I shot my movies, edited them between the VCRs, and then laid sound effects and music over them. I did this from the age of 13 to 23. What I didn't realize was that by making movies in this homemade, extremely crude and time-consuming manner, I was actually training myself for my future filmmaking challenges. When you edit between 2 VCRs, you're playing your raw footage on one VCR and recording on the other while pressing pause. The pause button made nice clean edits, but if I actually stopped the recording process, like stopped the VCR to go eat or something, to check my work, and then restarted the machine in the place I left off, it would always leave a huge glitch, and it would ruin the flow of the film. So I had to edit the entire film, whatever I was working on, without being able to check my edits until I finished the entire movie. And I had to do it all in one sitting because the VCR would only stay in the pause mode for 5 minutes before shutting off, meaning that I'd have to restart the machine and get the dreaded extra big glitch. So I'd edit a shot and then I'd have to go find the next shot before the 5 minutes were up. This taught me to shoot as little footage as possible and as few takes as possible, because the more raw footage I had, the longer it would take to find the take I wanted, and the greater chance I had of the recorder turning off and giving me the dreaded glitch. Learning how to make films this way for 10 years trained me to see the movie edited in my head beforehand. I had to see it edited beforehand. When I made a cut, it had to be right because there was no going back. That kind of pre-visualization skill came in extremely useful on my later films. These are skills they could never teach you in any film school, but they proved invaluable to me later because usually you just edit a film. Where since I was using video, I had the limitations of video. I attended a private boarding school, actually a junior seminary, during my high school years. I practiced making my movies all through school, and I found that the movies consistently got better the more I made them. I'd pour all of my weekends and after-school hours into my movies and my cartoons. My short movies were getting so famous that my teachers would let me turn in term movies instead of term papers. No one complained because they knew I was pouring more time, work, dedication, and hours into my movies than if I were writing 100 term papers. Besides, they were entertaining, they starred my classmates, and we'd screen them in class. I never learned to write.